Penny Walker had three immediate problems. First, she was behind on her astronomy department's grant proposal. Second, her 6-year-old daughter Maisie had decided that 2 a.m. was an excellent time to practice recorder solos. And third, well, the third problem had just crash-landed in her backyard, leaving a smoking crater where her prize-winning tomatoes used to be. Mom, a shooting star came to visit us. Maisie shouted, recorder thankfully abandoned as she pressed her nose against the kitchen window. Honey, shooting stars don't. Penny's sentence died as she peered over her daughter's head. Because that was definitely not a meteorite. The sleek, obsidian pod embedded in her garden had what appeared to be portholes. Stay inside, Penny ordered, grabbing the nearest weapon, a spatula, and cautiously stepping onto the back porch. The pod hissed open, releasing a cloud of purple smoke that smelled vaguely like burnt caramel. A massive figure emerged, unfolding to a height of at least 8 feet. Its exoskeleton glistened with iridescent scales, and multiple spikes protruded from shoulders that would make an NFL linebacker weep with inadequacy. I am Kraz'Thul, Supreme Overlord of the 7 Galactic Quadrants, the creature boomed, voice like gravel in a blender. Bow before me, pitiful earth creature. Penny raised her spatula higher. You just killed my heirloom tomatoes. Kraz'Thul blinked all 4 of his glowing amber eyes. I apologize for your vegetation. Before Penny could respond, a blur of pink pajamas darted past her. Maisie, no. But Maisie had already reached the alien, tiny hands extended upward. You're so pretty. Can I pet your spikes? Kraz'Thul looked down at the small human, mandibles twitching in what might have been confusion. I am not pet. I am feared across 12,000 planets. Maisie giggled. You talk funny, I'm gonna call you Snugglebug. Snugglebug, the alien warlord's voice cracked with indignation. I am the destroyer of. Don't you yell at my daughter, Penny interrupted, finally reaching them and pulling Maisie back. Look, Mr. Thul. Supreme Overlord Kraz'Thul, he corrected. Whatever. It's 2 in the morning. You've destroyed my garden, and you're scaring my child. I'm not scared, Maisie protested, straining against her mother's grip. Snugglebug is my new friend. The alien's posture suddenly changed, shoulders hunching as he glanced nervously at the sky. I require temporary sanctuary. My enemies approach. Grant me refuge, and I shall spare your dwelling. Penny looked from the smoking crater to her daughter's pleading eyes to the increasingly anxious alien. Fine, she sighed, but you're sleeping on the couch, and we're discussing garden reparations in the morning. And that's how Supreme Overlord Kraz'Thul, terror of the Galactic Council, found himself being led into a suburban Ohio home by a child who had already fashioned a leash from her jump rope. Come on, Snugglebug. I'll show you where the cookies are. I am not a Kraz'Thul began, but seeing Penny's warning glare, finished weakly, opposed to learning about these cookies. As they entered the house, Penny glanced back at the crater and wondered if her home insurance covered alien invasions. The toaster is not a communication device, and for the 3rd time, please stop trying to contact the Galactic High Command with it. Penny rubbed her temples as Kraz'Thul reluctantly set down the appliance. After 3 days of housing an alien warlord, her patience was wearing thinner than the excuses she'd given her department for working remotely. Your primitive technology confounds me, Kraz'Thul grumbled, accidentally knocking over a lamp with one of his back spikes. Maisie, unfazed by the crash, climbed onto a kitchen stool. Today I'm going to teach Snugglebug how to make pancakes. He promised to tell me about the time he conquered the slime people of Nebula 6, subdued the gelatinous entities of the 6th Nebula region, Kraz'Thul corrected, awkwardly holding a whisk between his talons. It was a glorious campaign lasting 17 orbital cycles. "That's nice, honey," Penny mumbled, typing frantically on her laptop. "Just don't use the stove without me." Living with an 8-foot alien had proven challenging. For one thing, none of her furniture could support him. The couch had collapsed on night 1, leaving Kraz'Thul to construct a nest from every blanket and pillow in the house. The bathroom was another issue entirely. Apparently, Galactic Warlords required ceremonial bathing rituals involving chanting and what looked suspiciously like interpretive dance. "Mom, Snugglebug can't fit in the shower," Maisie announced, flour somehow already covering 90% of her body. "Can we hose him down in the backyard?" Before Penny could answer, the doorbell rang. "Intruders," Kraz'Thul bellowed, instantly assuming a battle stance that sent pancake batter flying across the kitchen. "I shall eviscerate them where they stand." "It's probably just Jerry," Penny sighed, grabbing a dish towel to wipe batter from her laptop. "Kraz'Thul, remember our talk about evisceration being illegal on Earth?" "Your planet's laws are disappointingly restrictive," the alien muttered. "Hide in the pantry," Penny ordered, pushing him toward the walk-in closet. "And be quiet." Jerry Wilkinson had moved in next door 6 months ago, and had been finding excuses to visit Penny ever since. Today's pretext was apparently borrowing sugar, despite the fact that Jerry had previously mentioned being diabetic. "Heya, Penny. Thought I heard some commotion," Jerry said, peering over her shoulder into the house. "Everything okay? Sounded like someone was yelling about evisceration?" "Maisie's watching her cartoons too loud," Penny lied, blocking his view. "You know how kids are." From the kitchen came the distinctive sound of something large bumping into shelving, followed by Maisie's stage whisper, "Shh, Snugglebug." "Mom's talking to the nosy man." Jerry's eyebrows shot up. "New boyfriend?" "It's her stuffed animal," Penny said quickly. "Life-sized. Very spiky. Educational toy." Something crashed in the pantry. Maisie giggled. "Right," Jerry drawled. "Listen, I couldn't help noticing that crater in your backyard." "Meteorite, you think?" "I've got a buddy at the university who'd love to." "It's a compost experiment," Penny interrupted. "It's very scientific. Very smelly. Best to stay away." Another crash from the pantry, louder this time. "Mom, Snugglebug found the Cheetos and says they're similar to the brain stems of his enemies." Jerry blinked. "That's quite an imagination your daughter has." "Sugar," Penny blurted, thrusting a cup into his hands. "Here's your sugar. Gotta run, science waits for no one." She shut the door in his bewildered face. Inside the pantry, she found Kraz'Thul covered in orange dust, surrounded by empty Cheeto bags. "These cheese tubes are acceptable sustenance," he declared, "though they lack the satisfying crunch of exoskeletal fragments." "Great," Penny muttered. "An alien warlord with a junk food addiction. Just what I needed." Later that evening, Penny found Maisie and Kraz'Thul huddled on the floor watching cartoons. The fearsome alien was wearing a tiara, his facial tentacles braided with colorful clips. "The small yellow creature defies physics," Kraz'Thul observed, gesturing to SpongeBob. "Yet his enthusiasm for life's mundanities is admirable." "He's silly," Maisie giggled, leaning comfortably against one of his armored legs. "Like you, Snugglebug." "I have decimated civilizations," Kraz'Thul protested, but he made no move to dislodge the child. Penny leaned against the doorframe, wondering how this had become her life. "Bedtime in 10 minutes, you two." "5 more minutes," they asked in unison. Penny couldn't help but smile. Maybe having a Galactic Warlord around wasn't the worst thing after all. Until the next day, when SETI came calling. "We've detected unusual signals originating from this area," said the man on Penny's doorstep. He flashed a badge that read Morgan Fletcher, Special Investigator, SETI. "Mind if I come in?" Penny blocked the doorway with her body. Behind her, she could hear Kraz'Thul and Maisie playing Pretty Pretty Princess, a game the Warlord had taken to with surprising enthusiasm. "Now's not a great time," Penny said. "I'm in the middle of deep cleaning." Agent Fletcher raised an eyebrow. The signals suggest advanced technology, possibly non-terrestrial in origin. "Wow, aliens," Penny laughed nervously. "I have conquered the realm of prettiness." Kraz'Thul's voice boomed from inside, followed by Maisie's delighted laughter. Fletcher's eyes narrowed. "You have company?" "My daughter's drama teacher. They're rehearsing a play. Science fiction theme. Very experimental." The agent studied her for a long moment. "Ma'am, obstructing a federal investigation is—" "Mom," Maisie called, running to the door. Snugglebug got stuck in the bathroom again. His head spikes punctured the shower curtain. Fletcher's hand moved toward what Penny suddenly realized was a holstered weapon. "Snugglebug?" "Her imaginary friend," Penny said quickly. "Very active imagination. Very loud imagination," she added pointedly over her shoulder. "I see," Fletcher said, clearly not seeing at all. "I'd like to inspect your property, particularly that unusual depression in your backyard." "Warrant?" Penny challenged. Fletcher's mouth tightened. "I'll return with one." As soon as he left, Penny slammed the door and ran to find her extraterrestrial house guest. "We have a problem." She found Kraz'Thul wedged into the bathtub, looking ridiculous with a plastic tiara balanced between his head spikes. "This cleansing chamber is inadequately sized," he complained. "Forget that. There's a government agent snooping around." Kraz'Thul's eyes widened. The pod's cloaking mechanism must have malfunctioned during the crash. "This is most unfortunate." "Ya think," Penny hissed. "What happens if they find you?" "Best case scenario, I am vivisected for scientific study. Worst case, my pursuers detect the investigation and arrive to obliterate this entire region." Maisie, standing in the doorway clutching her stuffed unicorn, gasped. "They'd hurt Snugglebug?" Penny and Kraz'Thul exchanged looks. "No one's hurting anyone," Penny assured her daughter. "We just need to hide Snugglebug better." This proved easier said than done. Over the next week, Agent Fletcher seemed to materialize everywhere, at the grocery store, outside Maisie's school, even jogging past their house multiple times daily. Each appearance sent them scrambling to conceal an increasingly irritable alien warlord. Kraz'Thul had hidden in the attic, crashed through the ceiling, the garden shed, demolished it, and once memorably in Penny's car when Fletcher approached them at the supermarket. "Your vehicle's suspension appears damaged," Fletcher had observed, watching Penny's sedan listing dramatically to one side. New concrete blocks Penny had improvised in the trunk for a garden project. "In the shape of an 8-foot alien?" Fletcher asked dryly as a muffled sneeze emanated from the back seat. The situation reached peak absurdity when Jerry invited himself over for dinner, arriving at the same time as Fletcher returned with his warrant. "Wow, popular tonight," Jerry observed as Penny stood paralyzed in the doorway between both men. From upstairs came a crash, followed by Maisie's voice. "Don't worry, Snugglebug. I'll get more bed sheets for your disguise." Fletcher's hand moved to his weapon. "Ms. Walker, I'm authorized to search these premises." "Is that a crater in your backyard?" Jerry asked, peering around her. "Because I swear I saw something glowing in it last night." "Doom approaches." Kraz'Thul's voice suddenly thundered throughout the house. My scanner detects Vexnara's battle cruiser entering your solar system. Fletcher's expression hardened. Step aside. Mom, Maisie shouted, running downstairs. Snugglebug says the bad aliens are coming. And that's when the sky outside turned an ominous shade of purple. Penny stared at the tablet Kraz'Thul had pulled from his armor. On the screen, a menacing ship shaped like a jagged arrowhead moved steadily toward Earth. Explain, she demanded, ignoring both Fletcher's drawn weapon and Jerry's gaping confusion. Right now. Kraz'Thul's usual bluster was gone, replaced by something that looked disturbingly like shame. I may have omitted certain details about my arrival on your planet. No kidding, Penny snapped. Start talking. The alien sighed, his spikes drooping. I was indeed Supreme Overlord of the 7 galactic quadrants. For 300 of your Earth years, I commanded the most fearsome armada ever assembled. Told you he was important, Maisie whispered to her stuffed unicorn. Agent Fletcher kept his weapon trained on Kraz'Thul. You're saying you're some kind of space dictator? Was Kraz'Thul corrected, until the rebellion of the 9th moon. He explained how his fleet had surrounded a small planet called Krylia, home to a species renowned for their artistic abilities. Standard procedure called for immediate subjugation. But when we landed, Kraz'Thul continued, a small Krylian child approached me. Instead of fleeing, she offered me this. From a compartment in his armor, he withdrew what looked like a crudely drawn picture. It showed a purple stick figure, presumably Kraz'Thul, holding hands with a smaller blue figure under a yellow sun. She saw not a conqueror, but a potential friend, he said quietly. In 3 centuries of conquest, no one had ever offered me kindness. Maisie moved closer, examining the picture. Like when I gave you my extra cookie. Yes, small one, precisely like that. Kraz'Thul's voice softened. I ordered my forces to withdraw from Krylia. My lieutenant, Commander Vexnara, was displeased. She organized a mutiny, declaring me weak and unfit to command. So you escaped in a pod and crashed here, Penny finished. Correct. Vexnara has likely tracked the pod's emergency beacon. She comes not just for me, but to make an example of any world that harbors me. Jerry raised his hand like a confused student. Quick question, are we talking about an alien invasion of Earth right now? Essentially, yes, Kraz'Thul confirmed. Fletcher holstered his weapon with a sigh. I knew this job would get weird eventually. You're not surprised? Penny asked him. MS, Walker, said he doesn't send agents to investigate every backyard telescope. We've been monitoring unusual activity in this sector for months. I was sent to assess the threat level. And? Penny prompted. Fletcher gestured to the tablet showing the approaching warship. I'd say it's pretty damn high. Maisie tugged on Kraz'Thul's armored hand. Are the bad aliens going to hurt you, Snugglebug? The warlord knelt to her level, facial tentacles twitching with emotion. They seek to make an example of me, and now I fear of you as well. I have brought danger to your home. I apologize. Well, we're not letting them take you, Maisie declared fiercely. You're family now. Kraz'Thul blinked all 4 eyes. Family? But I am a conquering. You braid my hair every morning, Maisie interrupted. You watched 6 hours of baking shows with me when I had the flu. You're Snugglebug. Penny found herself nodding. She's right. I mean, yes, you've been a pain in the butt. You demolished my car's suspension, Fletcher added. And you terrified me in the garden shed, Jerry chimed in. But you're our pain in the butt now, Penny finished. So what's the plan? Before Kraz'Thul could answer, the tablet alarm blared. Outside, the sky turned from purple to deep crimson. She is here, he said grimly. As if responding to his words, a voice like shattering glass filled the air. Attention, primitive world. I am Commander Vex Nara of the Galactic Armada. Surrender the traitor Kraz'Thul or face obliteration. Maisie looked up at her alien friend, eyes wide but unafraid. Don't worry, Snugglebug. I have an idea. Commander Vex Nara was everything Kraz'Thul was, but worse. Taller, speakier, with 6 eyes instead of 4, and a distinct lack of any appreciation for the SpongeBob marathon Maisie had subjected them all to. She materialized in the backyard with a squadron of soldiers, her armor gleaming obsidian in the unnatural red light cast by the warship hovering above. So, she hissed, mandibles clicking in disgust as she surveyed the humans gathered on the porch. The mighty Kraz'Thul hides among vermin. We prefer earthlings, Jerry muttered, then shrank behind Penny when Vex Nara's gaze fell on him. Kraz'Thul stepped forward, positioning himself between his human family and his former lieutenant. I will go willingly, Vex Nara. Leave this planet in peace. Peace? She laughed, a sound like grinding metal. Your weakness has already infected this world. Observe how they shelter you instead of cowering. No, this planet requires cleansing. Agent Fletcher moved subtly, hand drifting toward his weapon. As an official representative of Earth's government, I must advise against any cleansing. Vex Nara's soldiers raised their weapons sleek, pulsing devices that made Fletcher's gun look like a toy. Your species' destruction was inevitable, Vex Nara declared. We merely accelerate the timeline. Now, Maisie suddenly shouted. From behind bushes, trees, and even the roof of the house, 24 kindergartners popped up, armed with water balloons. What is the meaning of Vex Nara's question was cut short as the first balloon exploded against her face. In attack, Maisie commanded, and her army obeyed. The alien soldiers, clearly unprepared for warfare conducted by 6-year-olds, broke formation in confusion as water balloons rained down. Ms. Higgins let us use the classroom phone for an emergency playdate, Maisie explained to her stunned mother. I told her aliens were invading. And she believed you? Penny asked incredulously. She thought I was being creative. Plus, I promised everyone could meet Snugglebug. The distraction worked momentarily. Vex Nara, recovering from her shock, raised her weapon with a roar of fury. Enough. I will vaporize these larvae first. No, Kraz'Thul said, his voice quiet but carrying an authority that made everyone freeze. You claim I am weak because I showed mercy. Because I saw value in life beyond conquest. You're wrong, Vex Nara. He gestured to Maisie and her friends, now being herded to safety by Agent Fletcher. These children possess more courage than our entire armada. They fight not for glory or power, but to protect those they care about. That is true strength. Sentiment, Vex Nara spat. The disease that corrupted you. Love, Kraz'Thul corrected. The power you never understood. He turned to the soldiers. 300 years we've conquered. What has it brought us? Fear. Endless war. Is that the legacy you choose? The soldiers exchanged uncertain glances. He makes excellent pancakes now, Penny added helpfully. And he's gotten really good at braiding hair. Traitors. Vex Nara shrieked, raising her weapon again only to have it knocked from her hand by a perfectly aimed water balloon. Nice shot, Jerry, Fletcher called. Jerry grinned, hefting another balloon. 4 years as pitcher in college, finally paying off. Kraz'Thul approached his former lieutenant. The old ways are ending, Vexnara. We can evolve, or we can perish clinging to outdated beliefs. I'd rather die than live as these humans do, she growled. Have you tried pizza? Maisie piped up. Snugglebug really likes pepperoni. Something flickered in Vexnara's eyes, confusion, perhaps, or the faintest hint of curiosity. What is pepperoni? 3 months later, Penny's backyard had become the unofficial headquarters of Earth's first extraterrestrial cultural exchange program. Remember, the tentacles are a sign of respect. Kraz'Thul instructed a group of wide-eyed diplomats, and never, under any circumstances, mentioned the Third Galactic War. It's still a sensitive topic. Where her tomato garden had once been, a sleek communication array now stood, facilitating discussions between Earth and the newly reformed Galactic Coalition. The crater had been expanded, with proper permits this time, to accommodate visiting alien dignitaries. When you said you needed garden space, this wasn't what I imagined, Jerry commented, helping Penny carry refreshments for the diplomats. In the weeks since first contact, as the media called it, Jerry had proven surprisingly adaptable to the idea of aliens next door. Life's full of surprises, Penny replied. 3 months ago, I was an overworked astronomer. Now I'm Earth's unofficial ambassador to 37 spacefaring civilizations. And dating a SETI agent, Jerry added with a knowing smile. Penny blushed. Fletcher had asked her out 2 weeks after helping prevent Earth's destruction. His opening line, so, survived an alien invasion together. Dinner seems like the logical next step had been charmingly direct. Across the lawn, Vexnara sat cross-legged among Maisie's kindergarten class, her formerly intimidating armor now adorned with stickers and glitter. The structural integrity of your macaroni art is impressive, she was telling a solemn-faced boy. On my world, such architectural skill would earn you command of a battle station. I have one more in my lunchbox, the child offered. We can share. Vexnara's transformation from would-be destroyer to reluctant cultural attack had been Maisie's proudest achievement. It turned out that pizza, bubble baths, and a marathon of Disney movies could soften even the hardest galactic tyrant. Mom, look what Snugglebug is wearing, Maisie called excitedly. Kraz'Thul approached, his imposing figure somewhat undermined by the clip-on tie secured precariously between his neck spikes. The small humans have requested my presence at this career day event. I am to explain interstellar governance systems. Just maybe leave out the part about the forced labor camps, Penny suggested. Obviously, Kraz'Thul huffed. I have prepared a presentation on sustainable resource allocation instead. With stickers, he added proudly. Agent Fletcher joined them, tablet in hand. Just got word from headquarters. The president has officially approved Project Handshake. We're sending the first human delegation to Krillia next month. And Penny will lead it, Kraz'Thul announced. There is no one better suited to represent Earth's interests. Me, Penny blinked. But I'm not. You took in an alien warlord, prevented an interstellar war, and established first contact protocols that have been adopted by the UN, Fletcher pointed out. Plus, you make exceptional coffee. Diplomatic gold. As the adults talked, Maisie led Vexnara and a group of alien dignitaries in what appeared to be an impromptu dance lesson. Friendship first, then politics, Kraz'Thul observed. The child understands diplomacy better than most of my former generals. Later that evening, after the diplomats had departed and the communications array hummed quietly in the background, Penny found Kraz'Thul sitting on the reinforced couch they'd specially built for him, looking at the stars through the living room window. Having second thoughts, she asked, about betraying my former empire, becoming a permanent resident of a technically underdeveloped planet, and answering to the name Snugglebug. He tilted his head. Surprisingly, no. Good, Penny said, settling beside him. Because Maisie's already planning your Earth birthday party. There will be hats. Kraz'Thul sighed with exaggerated resignation. I have conquered worlds, commanded armies, and now I am conquered by a 6-year-old with a fondness for glitter. That's family for you, Penny laughed. From upstairs, Maisie called down, Snugglebug. It's story time. You promised to do the voices. Kraz'Thul rose, straightening his tie. Duty calls. Apparently tonight's tale involves a rabbit and problematic time management. As he climbed the stairs, Penny heard her daughter giggling, followed by the improbable sound of a fearsome galactic warlord attempting to mimic a rabbit's voice. Outside, the stars twinkled a little brighter than they had before. Somewhere up there, worlds that had once feared Earth's newest resident now opened diplomatic channels. And in a suburban home in Ohio, the most feared being in 7 quadrants was learning that Snugglebug might be the greatest title he'd ever earned. In the cosmic hierarchy of power, it turned out that bedtime stories ranked far above galactic domination.